I'm going to be commenting on a horrifying event, a historic event, as we've finally hit the boiling point as a nation. The 4 officers, one of them, the main one, Derek Chauvin, in custody, charged with murder. Unfortunately, Minnesota hasn't had a death penalty since 1911. All 4 of those pieces of shit, unfortunately, not only destroyed their own families, but destroyed the safety of good police officers for the unforeseeable future. And they've also destroyed the lives of the Floyd family and countless others that are just going to get fucked with the trickle effect from this. Derek Chauvin, Thomas Lane, Tai Tao, or Totao, J. Alexander Kueng. If I spoke directly to them, I'd say pray hard and deep and make your peace with freedom. So hopefully if justice is served, and the way these riots are looking, I'm sure it will be, they're all going to hopefully spend a very, very long time, if not the rest of their lives, in prison. So, you know me, I usually don't take hard stances. I don't like to talk about politics, and I'm going to keep this as politically neutral as possible. I don't want to get into that fucking conversation. I've been watching the protests, the riots, the looting. I watched a 46-year-old black man get murdered on YouTube by a white cop while his dumpy partners looked the other way. 2 of them pinned his fucking legs. Just as guilty, by the way, just as guilty. I don't hear anybody talking about the liquid that seemed to be coming out from under that vehicle either. It looked like, I hate to even say this out loud, but it looked like Floyd was possibly even defecating himself. You know, the police officers didn't do shit about that. There was 100 fucking opportunities to save this man's life. So it's obvious and understandable why there are a lot of people very, very upset, which is obviously an understatement. But I originally was going to do this differently and speak out against the looters and as well as the cops, but it's difficult to take a stance like that. I watched this gentleman get murdered, apparently for $20 on YouTube, a $20 possible $20 counterfeit. That's it. That's the price of murder in Minnesota. The price of murder in America. What's happened to our country? In fact, there may be a better way to put it. What's been happening that hasn't ever changed? That we haven't seen really this widespread, not because it was never there, but until social media lifted the veil. I'd have to say enough is enough. It's 2020. Okay. I keep seeing all these comments, and I see a lot of racist ass comments too, which is fucked up, but it's fucking 2020, guys. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. Everyone wake up to the fact that it's over. It's all over. Privacy, in terms of your biases, what you do in public, and even in the privacy of your own home, when it comes to bias and fucked up shit towards other people, privacy's done there. The technology has progressed past that point. And maybe for this shit, at least, it's a good thing. Just maybe. If you think you can get away with a murder now or bigotry, you're a fool. You're an idiot. You deserve to get what you get now. Racism, you're fucking done. We've been on all sides of the table grouping each other for long enough. Okay, this community, that community, this PC bullshit, that's PC bullshit. It's time to end it. Let's make an American community. Okay, let's ensure equality and justice is served. Let's find the middle ground and vote out extremists in local governments. And that's where it starts. It's apparent. People came from areas of the country, just different places. They went to Minneapolis and incited violence. And I'm not saying that people don't have the right to be upset after Mr. Floyd's murder. I watched that video 100 times. I wanted to make sure I felt that video. Okay. I didn't want to do this episode until I felt that video. All right. I might not be there, but I can feel. All right. Everybody can feel, and our hearts go out. And you can spend all your time judging those people if you want, but if you've ever lived through this type of violence, you might understand. Was your childhood spent through rough areas or were you in the comfy suburbs? People act differently in crazy situations during crazy times when they act on emotion. Of course, we can say this doesn't help anyone's communities. And of course, we can say people are acting like animals. But unless you're in the middle of it, unless you've been the target of racism or grew up in environments that cause you to think, act, and survive in certain ways, then your relationship with the emotions of those in question are null in void. In fact, shut the fuck up. Again, we just watched another black man get murdered on television, on YouTube. Murder is fucking murder. Is murder is murder is murder. That doesn't matter when it comes to the color of your skin, the context of your character. Murder is murder. Let's look at this from another point of view. We have no idea if Mr. Floyd knew the bills were counterfeit. And even if he fucking did, even if he was drunk, like some of the 911 calls were talking about, maybe he was intoxicated, even if he wouldn't return that pack of cigarettes they talked about, what does it matter? Does it merit murder? Again, it's $20. The price of murder in our fucking country is it $20? Is it in our free America for now? For how long? How long will we all be free? All of us are falling now. All of us are failing now. All of us are guilty now. If we don't show support to unite all Americans around this, regardless of whatever fucking community, whatever financial bracket, whatever color they are, if all Americans can't unite around wanting to end these type of violent events, enough is enough. Let's flip the murder around, folks. Let's take a little trip. Let's get some stuff into perspective. We've all gone out drinking, whether you go to a country bar or a nightclub or a concert. I'm not trying to take away from what happened, by the way, guys. I'm just trying to put a different spin on this to try to get other people to maybe relate who don't relate. Maybe they don't see how this affects them. So I'm going to flip the narrative a little bit to try to affect different types of people. So let's try this. All right, guys. So we've all gone out drinking. We've all gone to bars, clubs, concerts, stand-up comedy, football games. We've tailgated, whatever it may be. We've all wandered into a Shell station, a 7-Eleven, a little bit tipsy, trying to buy some smokes, trying to buy some whatever, trying to buy a Four Loko. Anyway, you pay, the shop owners accuse you of paying with counterfeit cash, or maybe you don't have enough money or your card gets declined. You say, fuck this, and you go sit in your car. And I don't care, by the way. If it's proven he acted intentionally or not, again, it doesn't matter. Murder is murder. All right. Just go along with me. The cops come to your car, and as you're standing up, disoriented already, and you're immediately seized upon by these officers. These officers assume you're violent before you've done anything wrong, and in panic and confusion, natural for anyone or anything who plainly does not understand what is happening, the body naturally tenses, which feels like resistance. These officers should know better. Still, they don't seem to care as you're removed from your vehicle and paraded around for 10, 15 minutes and even across the street finally. And before you know it, you're face down on the pavement, and in the confusion you try to stand, you're shoved back down. You piss yourself as you feel tiny pieces of asphalt, those little rocks and pieces of glass piercing into your cheekbone, your jaw, your collarbone. You feel the pressure increase on your neck. You try to stand again, confused and wounded. At least you're being treated as an animal, as Officer Derek Chauvin pounds his knee into the side of your neck in an effort to subdue you, in an effort to control you, in an effort to end your life. You're terrified, gasping for air. You can't move. You're paralyzed. You beg. You scream. You cry out with all your breath, I can't breathe. Your prayers are answered by an intensified pressure on your throat as the blood starts to slowly decrease in pressure, more and more lessening the amount of oxygen going to your brain. You're sleepy. It's hard to see. You feel every muscle in your body tense and release as the people gather around begging the officer to release his grip. Unfazed, he seems to take pleasure in his actions. You don't know where you are anymore. And your mom who died a year ago? You start calling out for her. Mama, Mama. And 7 minutes becomes an eternity as you find yourself splashing into liquid darkness, into nothingness. You hear your own voice say that it's okay, it's over. Your mom comes for you and embraces you, and you know it's over. The paramedics pull your lifeless body, your pulseless body, your limp, hanging body, and dump it on a stretcher. And that's America. You died for $20. You died for a pack of smokes. You die over a drink, over a possible health or mental health emergency. Some punk pussy ass murdered you in cold blood. And I have no words and no explanation for why this happened. The story I just told sees no color, at least for me. I see an American. I see my brother from another mother, and now I'm mourning his death along with everybody else. And I'm so sorry, Mr. Floyd, because this is garbage. And I don't understand how many more people need to die in our communities before actual change occurs. I'm watching his brother, Philanese Floyd, talk, and, I start crying for this. I usually never get involved in these affairs. I usually keep myself on other topics, but I just can't anymore. Just at least for this one. Everything you said is true. No empathy, no compassion, no CPR, no justice, just pain. I'm tired of watching black men die too, and I think many of us are. And I'm not saying other people don't die. Many people die, but there is a problem in this country, and we need to start recognizing it out loud in all of our communities. We can't do this anymore. We can't be self-segregated. We need to unite all of our communities and start uplifting each other. There's no more room for racism, for separation, for judgment, and it's high time we embrace all of our differences and diversity. It's time we stand hand in hand. It's about time we actually realize the dream. It's time the dream becomes the American dream for everyone, regardless of skin color, race, creed, religion. We're Americans. We're Americans. We are Americans. How many fucking times do we have to say it? It's 2020. There's no turning back. All of our communities are merging already, and rightfully so. It's evolution. We spend all of this time bickering with each other while key players make moves that keep us separated. So I call upon all of our communities, all of the groups and organizations representing our communities, to put aside their significant differences and come to the damn table for once. You want the violence to stop? You want the people to come to their senses? You want to see reversals and changes in culture? Let's all come to the table, regardless of politics, regardless of color and differences, and start uniting over mutual justice and freedom for all Americans. If we can start working together to develop real plans to uplift our communities and create new pathways and partnerships, then we can begin healing old wounds and working towards real change. Just watch the news. Turn on any channel. Go on YouTube. Take a look. Watch an American city burn. Watch multiple American cities burn and erupt in protest. Is this what you want for your kids? Is this the future for our kids? Are we going to keep pointing fingers? Are you and I going to blame each other and judge each other? Are we all going to roll up our sleeves and take responsibility together and make one America? It's supposed to be we the people. We the people. All right? Everybody's included. It's 2020. Let's talk about we the people for a second, all right? The 14th Amendment was passed by the U.S. Senate on June 8th, 1866, with the House passing it on the 13th. A few days later, it was ratified on July 9th, 1868, right there. It granted full citizenship to, and I quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States. This includes former slaves, as well as explicitly forbidding any state from denying anyone life, liberty, or property. All right. Now let's look at the civil rights era, 1950 to 1963. We could actually technically say the civil rights era is ongoing and forever. But in Brown versus the Board of Education, 1954, African-American citizens were formally granted the right to go to school alongside white peers. Violence from this ensued and culminated in the infamous kidnapping and murder of 14-year-old Emmett Till. He was accused of offending a white lady in a fucking store. So he was kidnapped, tortured, hung in public. You know what that led to, right? I'll give you a second. If you don't know, and you need to be paying attention to this, in December 1955, the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott began, led by Martin Luther King Jr. Many people, they just think Rosa Parks, but this was a full force protest. This lasted from December 5th, 1955 to December 20th, 1956, which only began with Rosa Parks, all right? This led to the integration of the bus system and the rise of Dr. King. This led to hundreds upon hundreds of protests and demonstration, large scale, peaceful action. I'm looking at the significant constitutional amendments and civil rights acts of Congress right now, all right? This is from the official archives of the House of Representatives. It's not some bullshit, all right? I'm going to put some facts down since we all seem to be losing touch with our fucking history. Let's go back. I want to put something in perspective for people who don't get it. The Civil War ended in 1865. That's not that long ago. It sounds like ancient history to most people, but it's only a couple people ago, okay? We had lights, we had trains, we had manufacturing. Just because cars and computers didn't exist doesn't mean it was the fucking Stone Age. Get that through your head. It doesn't matter that your ancestors and my ancestors didn't do it. It is our inherent responsibility to aid in the quest for complete equality, passing forward the ideals of peace and prosperity from those who came before us, not degenerating back into the shit we once were evolving from. Degeneration is all you do when you erase history. When you erase history, you're doomed to repeat it. That's why we're repeating this shit again and again and again. Space program in the 1960s, war in Vietnam, racial tensions, space program in the 2020s, war in Afghanistan and Iraq, racial tensions. Oh, look, it's a cycle, huh? Maybe we should be paying a little more attention, okay? The 13th Amendment was ratified in 1865 and abolished slavery. This was then followed by the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which granted property rights to all citizens, okay? The 14th Amendment made the freed slaves and all others naturalized and born here citizens with all the rights that are supposed to be enjoyed by American citizens. The 15th Amendment protected the voting rights, while the Civil Rights Acts of 1870, 1871, and one more after that, which were known as the Ku Klux Klan Acts, they were created in response to the terrorist organization that the KKK was, as a way to protect voters of all color and enforce the powers of the 14th Amendment and allow for the federal protection and control of voting rights. There's a gigantic list, and it goes on and on and on, folks. I don't want to lose you. So we're going to get into 1964, 1965, and 68. This ain't long ago. A lot of you were alive during this, or at least your parents were, or your grandparents were. 1964 is full desegregation, full rights, full everything. That's what it's supposed to be and do. End all racial discrimination in the workplace, in public, at the ballot box. 1965 gave full voting protection and closed the loopholes in unfair voter registration and rights infringement, guys. 1968 brought the Fair Housing Act and made it a crime to discriminate in the sale or rental of housing, additionally making it illegal to fuck the Native Americans as well. Remember, guys, this ain't long ago. These wounds are still healing, and some of these have never even been fucking enforced, even from decades ago. So my question becomes this: why can't we get this right? Forget who did what or who does what. Let's form a new brotherhood, a new sisterhood with one another. What needs to be done to combine our communities together into an American community? What needs to be done to speed this up and join forces with one another as loving and peaceful brothers and sisters, heading back towards enlightenment and away from darkness and despair? I think that now, more than ever, we need each other. We need to uplift. We need to hold ourselves accountable, all of us accountable, for creating a better world for our children, our grandchildren, and all of our future generations. A future where we remember our history. We keep sacred the painful and challenging lessons we've learned together. We use this history as a binding glue. We need to figure this shit out, guys. We'll be right back.
The The American Reveille podcast with James Lane would like to take a moment to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to tune into the show. It's because of great fans like you that we strive to deliver the best quality content one can create as fast as one can fling the pen. With that being said, a good little boy never misses his opportunity to sell himself, and though James would never ask you for your money, he would like to let you know that if you absolutely love this podcast, the writing, the art, its production, anything, please do us the personal favor of liking, sharing, tweeting, texting, and talking about this podcast. James Lane is a father, a husband, a U.S. Navy veteran, and is personally committed to the success of the American Reveille podcast. Please email James Lane directly at podcast@AmericanReveille.com, or please visit our website at www.AmericanReveille.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I want to say something really quick before we continue. I'm not looking for anything out of this. I don't make any money from this, and I'm not going to accept any money for this episode. Everyone has to understand the magnitude of what's happening right now. We're living through historical times, and what we do as a people is going to determine how we face the rest of the 21st century as a nation, as a people, united as one people, black, white, Latino, Asian, everyone under the sun. If we can't come together, if we can't get this shit figured out quick, look, what we do now will determine how we're remembered after our fall as a people and as a nation in the 21st century. Let me say this again. If we don't come together, then what we do now will determine how we are remembered after our fall as a people and as a nation in the 21st century. Kids will open up their history book in school and read, "The United States was a failed idea suggested by ... That's where we're fucking heading right now, guys. If we can't pull our heads out of our fucking asses and come together, that's where we're heading. Like I said earlier, privacy is gone. It's not coming back. We already signed that away with social media and technology. Not that it was such a terrible thing, but now, if you're biased, if you're racist, if you fucking murder someone, there ain't nowhere to hide, guys. The quicker we figure this shit out, the quicker we get back to where we need to be as a nation for the future, for the evolution of this country in a positive direction. I'm an American citizen, just like you. I have the right to say this, just like every single person listening. And I'm calling upon you to speak your mind. And I'm calling upon community leaders of every community, again, white, black, Latino, Asian American, every ethnicity possible. We need to start exploring what terms we all need to come to so this doesn't become some Gangs of New York shit again. And that's the fucking keyword. Again. This is what happens when we erase history. We have to remember our worst of times so we don't keep repeating them. And here we are repeating everything again and again. Hey, remember the civil rights movements of the 60s? Yeah, we talked about that already, right? Look what's happening now again. Look what's happening now again. When they say history repeats itself, guys, they aren't fucking kidding. This isn't a joke. This is real. All community leaders from every community, every people around this country, everybody that identifies with something special here in America, everybody that's trying to build something better for their children, we need to all come together, regardless of race and color, regardless of religious background, regardless of gender identity. Who gives a shit anymore? Everything that ever worked for us as a people, everything was done through peaceful demonstration, through cooperation, through brotherhood, through sisterhood, through shared pain and suffering, not inflicting it on others and destroying lives. Evil begets evil. And don't you ever fucking forget that. Look, I'm going to quote a part of Dr. King's famous speech that's often left out of snippets. He said that even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. And it's a dream that's deeply rooted in the American dream. So before I continue, I want to say that in 2020, this isn't rooted in the American dream anymore. In fact, the following is the American dream, as the old one disappeared for all of us a long time ago. So Dr. King said, I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. All right? He said, with this faith, we'll be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. And this will be the day. This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is going to be a great nation, this must become true. It must. I want you to think about what that means, what the entire point of all of this is. How will our combined generations be remembered? Every valley exalted, every hill made low. What does this mean? He's talking about making things equal, making the paths easier for everyone. Once everyone comes together, once everyone embraces diversity, just as a large business would embrace diversity because it's proven to improve productivity, a people that embraces diversity is proven to thrive and evolve and continue on for the better. It's proven. There's no fucking guessing here. It's proven. It's fucking science at this point. With this faith, we can hew, we can cut up, chop up, dig up some hope out of all of this hate and darkness. Transform jangling discords into a symphony of brotherhood. We can stop fighting with each other. We can start working together to achieve something more significant for everybody. Something no one has ever imagined or seen besides visionaries like Dr. King inside of their mind. We need to finally make it real. This could be our moment, our nation's defining historic moment. Beyond anything we have ever done as a nation past maybe defeat the Nazis, we could all become responsible for finally, truly, and forever uniting the United States. Again, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. We don't want to erase that. We need to remember that for all its good and all its bad. We don't have to destroy things to make things better. We don't have to destroy history to make it better. We can redefine it by showing the world and showing future generations who compare these histories, what we learned, what we came from, and how we made things right. That's the real way to do it, because if we don't, long after we're dead, our sons, our daughters, our children, their grandchildren, they'll be the ones crying in the dark. White, black, Latino, anyone and everyone will be crying in the dark for help when our nation burns to the fucking ground. If you learned anything from this podcast, hell, if you've learned anything from life and what you've seen recently, then you should know damn well no one is coming to the rescue. We have to save our nation. We have to save our people. We should be on a mission to do this, not on a mission to burn it down and start over. You have no fucking idea what you're asking for. We're better than this. We're Americans. Let's unite our communities. Let's discuss real solutions, real education, real uplifting, real change, real progress. Let's discuss educational opportunities and paths. Let's discuss culture. Let's discuss servant leadership. Let's discuss communities and safety and how to change mentalities and attitudes for the future, for our families. Stop dividing us. Listen, stop it. It's us doing it. It's us. Whoever's stoking it, that's one thing, but instant gratification's not real. Free shit's not real right now. Look, it doesn't last. We're doing this to save our grandchildren and their children's children, their grandchildren. It's easy to do nothing and hope somebody else is doing something, but I promise you, if you're thinking that already, they're not doing something. You want real change? I think we all want real change at this point. We want the murders to stop. We want everyone to stop acting a fool as well. It takes time. We need to understand that, but we need to stop fucking it up. We need consistency. Every time something like this happens, everyone works hard for 5 minutes, then people stop. They move on to the next thing. Everyone just chases that moment. And then that moment goes, and then they go. The real change doesn't take a moment. It takes years. It takes campaigns. It takes a mental war. Many people stay focused on positivity and change, but most people, they fall off the wagon, just like not going to the gym or something. If we all just work hard together to unite our communities, to have these hard talks, to make people scared that make people uncomfortable, those uncomfortable talks that are aimed at killing the PC bullshit and just embracing each other's differences and loving each other for who we are, cultivating that brotherhood and sisterhood. I always hear people bitching and moaning about like a white girl with cornrows or a black dude that dates white chicks or the difference between this hood or that barrio, this neighborhood, that street. And then our leaders use that shit to divide us by pretending it's what keeps us together. It's a joke. We see our culture spill over into each other. We watch it happen naturally, and it's going to keep doing so. And we need to stop resisting it. Let it just do what it does. It's the only path to real peace and prosperity in our country. Allow everyone to enjoy every culture. Let's begin to plant real seeds towards equality in the hearts and minds of all. Old generations will die. Racism could slowly die with them. Subside it from our species. It may be able to become this very tiny, tiny minimum, if not gone. We have to look at this in the long term. We have to be looking generations ahead, because if we keep doing the same thing again and again, if we keep practicing insanity, doing the same things over and over and over and expecting different results, it's only going to be our own faults. We'll have no one else but ourselves to blame when our country fucking burns. In fact, are you happy? Are you happy watching what's happening right now? Every single American has played a part. Take your ownership. Every single American, white, black, purple, we've all played our role. We've all played our role in this. I know something's always been wrong. We know something's always been wrong, and we should all call a spade by now. Let's fix it for good. I'm a military man. We identified the problem for a long time. Let's find a fucking solution. New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Seattle, Tacoma, Portland. America's burning right now. Have you been asleep? Have we been asleep? I need you to close your eyes and ask yourself, if you ever imagined you'd see camouflage military and police marching in formation in U.S. cities, did you ever think you'd see this shit? This stuff happens in the movies, not in real life. If you never imagined it, then wake the fuck up. It's happening, and it's been happening forever. But technology finally caught up. Whether you like it or not, we're evolving. We're painfully evolving. Now that it's spilling over, now that everyone's children have seen the truth, they saw the freaking pain of this country, what usually hides in the dark. They saw it on TikTok. They saw it on Instagram. Maybe us old fucks saw it on Facebook, but this affects our kids now. The veil's been lifted. The blatant evidence is here. The injustices, they can't be ignored or denied by the world anymore. It's over. Racism and bias, it's now going to enter its death knells, its final resistance before its final demise. It's time. It's 2020. We've reached the ceiling. It's over. Let evolution begin. If you're mad at politicians, at companies, at police, at anything, if you want to fight something, if you want to destroy something, you don't confront it head on. You don't burn down the city. You get educated. You infiltrate. If company leaders can come together and can share knowledge, we can all work consistently for change, to change mindsets and hearts, to find ways to mitigate violence and greatly expand opportunity and equality, restore the American dream once and for all. If we can do that, then naturally people will lift up and out of the sewers. Some will come and get into these systems. Some will come from nothing and get into these systems and begin to enact great change for the better. That combined with large-scale peaceful work towards fair policy, fair mindset, a new culture of brotherhood and sisterhood while still embracing what makes America beautiful and what's made it beautiful, opening up the communities for everyone, eventually mindsets will even out. It takes time, but people will begin to love one another again. I swear it. George Floyd, I pray that you become the symbol that finally brings all our communities together and ends the violence. I pray that your murder solidifies not only the Black community, but all of our communities in a final and once and for all, for good alliance for the betterment of our children's children's children. Everything I've read about you and everything I've heard from people that speak about you says to me that you were just like any one of us. The millions and millions of people looking for some kind of purpose among all of this concrete and bullshit and hate, only to find disappointment around every corner, only to never find answers to questions no one ever told us or taught us to ask, to be judged, to seek community and find emptiness, to seek family and find betrayal, to find a closed door and a locked fence around every corner, no matter how hard you try to break free, trying to make the best choice while stuck in a situation you were born into, facing whatever economic, social, and cultural boundaries that were unfairly dealt upon you because God decided to paint us a color or you a color or that a color or this a color and give whatever cash was waiting when you were born. I pray we finally learn that it has nothing to do with color. It has everything to do with love. Love's the key, folks. Empathy and love, guys. Try to understand what makes a baby become an adult before everyone gives up on one another. It hurts on both sides of the fence here. I've made many mistakes in my life. I'm not perfect. Neither are you. It's time to forgive everyone, especially ourselves, and come together as Americans. I know I don't know many of you, but I love you all. I'll pray for all of us, my brothers and sisters. And George Floyd, though I never met you, you are my brother. And may you rest in peace. May we all rest. Let the violence stop, and let's start coming together. This is America. Have a good night, guys.
Tall tales, my eyes see to my road. Don't look at the clock, I don't even got time. I seen people ride, I seen people stop, I seen people let it pass by. I seen evil, maybe that's why. I see needles next to that wine. I seen demons and I seen signs. I need reason, you don't need mine. Once I took a roll of that dice, that shit took control of my life. Twice I paid the toll for that price. Nights and days, hoping I'd fight. Knives and blades, open my sight. Guide the way over my spite. I was made as I was built. Flowers fade and flowers wilt till past lives, they hover over like crows. Just like I hover over my code. All hail, almighty freedom I chose. Tall tales, my eyes see to my road. And send you back home. My God of peace, my God of war, my own. So much I've been shown. All hail, almighty freedom I roam.